Hey Sephai, check this out!
What is it?
Oh, you'll love this.
Yep.
To Jurassic Park.
Oh god, this scene. I'll admit, I almost bawled in theaters when I heard it. I mean, it's...
They do move in herds.
Just how I remember it.
Hello, Mora.
Greetings, Internet denizens.
What up, bitches? I'm Paul.
I'm Sephai,
I'm Josh.
and we are Gassed Up Geeks.
Every time you see us, what we're doing is we're bringing our love of fandom from our bar tab to your screen. We talked about a few other things, and today we're going to talk about our favorite cartoons growing up as kids. Me, I'm the old fart of the group. I'm 44. These guys are still in their 30s, a good decade younger. So I'm going to talk about a cartoon for a minute that I grew up and loved. That came out basically around the time these guys were born. You may have heard of it. It's called Transformers. Transformers started off in Japan, but it hit the North American market, and the cartoon was used to help sell the toys. And oh, did it ever. And it had some of the most amazing characters that you ever met. You know, we all know the name Megatron. We all know the name Starscream. We all know the name Optimus Prime. Unfortunately, we all know the name Bumblebee. But, you know, that character has always been one of the weird little suckers. You know, he was a little Volkswagen Beetle. And later on in the comics, and it's reflected on the toys, he got blasted apart, got put back together, and he felt great in his new body and all that stuff. He's like, no, hey, I want some major respect now. I'm not Bumblebee anymore. Call me Goldbug. I remember looking at that and going, that's an upgrade?
Oh,
You know, it was great because, as you know, as a kid, everybody loved laser battles and stuff like that, and so this was a whole new world. You'd had other cartoons where it didn't come close to that. You didn't, and all the stories had a great moral and stuff like that. And I gotta admit, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody who knows me knows I have a big thing about honor, respect, and stuff like that. You know, as a little kid in Scotland, King Arthur was a big thing, and Optimus Prime. He was the epitome of the King Arthur Arthurian code. My attitude about respect for friends and doing the right thing and stuff like that, Optimus Prime is one of the main factors that helped me grow up that way.
Yeah.
Despite the fact I thought Megatron was 1,000 times cooler. I actually had Soundwave, the Ghetto Blaster toy. And I actually
I've
noticed...
seen those, yeah.
Yeah. Look this up, folks. The original toy, and then look at the Decepticon logo. Shockwave's face is the Decepticon logo. So I'm thinking he was the first toy. And they just put the face there and then decided, no, we're expanding and going farther. And the toys had so many other great stuff as well. They ended up coming up with 3-in-1s where you could turn it from a robot to one of the toys. Sig, you'll have to look this up for me. One of the toys, he's the robot. Turn him into a tank, then turn him into a helicopter. They had their secret ones where, you know how you got that little black square when you rub it like a photocell, and then it reveals something? Some of the toys had that. Is he a Decepticon, or is he an Autobot? Who knows? So you had to rub it. And, no, this is not me feeling myself up. That's a later show that for adults. But you had to rub it, and the photocell would reveal which logo it was. So all those great characters.
I remember seeing a few of those as well, yeah.
Yeah, and you had Spike and his dad, who were construction guys, and they helped out. You know, the Transformers were in a big war on their home planet, and they ended up coming here to Earth by accident because their ship got damaged, and they were there for thousands and thousands, actually millions of years, because they were there before the dinosaurs. And then something happened that shifted the tectonic plates. It reactivated the Ark, and it went out and started scanning local stuff and reconfigured the Autobots. And the same thing happened with the Decepticons, because they were all actually, it was a big battle, they're all lying there in the Ark together, and the computer on the Ark rebuilt them all. The Decepticons woke up first, took off, then the Autobots woke up, and then it continued. And it gave us like 3-4 years of great adventures and fun. And then came Transformers the movie, the first animated movie to come out. And that's when it all shifted, because the movie shifted from the old trucks and cars and all that, shifted to more futuristic. It was many years in the future. I think it was so far in the future, it was 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I couldn't imagine that far in the future.
I know. So Transformers for me was one of my favorite cartoons growing up as a kid. What about you?
Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all the way.
Heroes in the Half Shell.
Turtle Power.
You beat me to it. I was going to say Turtle Power.
Sorry, man.
TMN.
Yeah, it was just one of those really well marketed. You know, you got all these toys and it's great, but you have this show. It's just it was just 80s, well, late 80s, but it was one of those 80s shows that just works. I haven't done a rewatch of it, so I don't know how well it's aged. But yeah, just having, the Shredder and, Splinter, and the four turtles, whatever the names were.
Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, and Raphael, named for 4 Renaissance artists.
That was a test.
Congratulations, you passed! Woohoo! That's once.
You get a mouser. And yeah, just those little mousers, Krang.
Yeah. By the time they got to Krang, I couldn't watch it anymore. I was just like, what? The brain inside this brain-type creature inside the big lummox. I was just like, I'm out.
Well, he's thinking with his lower portion.
Well, then I should have watched more, because by that point, I was going to say, by that point I was a teenager, so I was doing the same thing. So I should have been watching it more then. Could have gotten some ideas. Although, I don't know, a girl would have like, hey, how you doing? Just, I don't think that would have appreciated. So.
Yeah, it was great, again, to act out all those things with, my buddy Stan at the time. And you had this time with your friends, and you just recreated the episodes or made your own. It was perfect. He had all the toys, so he had a closet full of them, so I would go over, I would have my little bit that I would have, and it was just friends together, and it was just reenacting and, Halloween and dressing up as Ninja Turtles and buying turtles and naming them after them and having them die because I'm a kid and I don't know how to.
I wonder how many kids are looking at their pet turtles going, why aren't you fighting? Or like how many thought, got a turtle and got a rat and went, this don't seem right. The size comparison. I probably would have been one of those kids. I fully admit it.
I definitely enjoyed watching Ninja Turtles as well. Unfortunately, my parent story, all fans be prepared to groan. My mom does a lot of knitting. She'll make sweaters and
Did she knit you a Ninja Turtle costume?
She knit me a Ninja Turtle sweater. It was Donatello with Michelangelo's headband.
Please let that be out somewhere. Please let that be out somewhere. Oh dear. Sig, please, if you can, find a photo.
Work your magic, please.
Please.
I gotta see this.
I gotta admit that when I first watched the cartoon, I wasn't thrilled about it. Because I'd actually read the Eastman and Laird comic book, which was different in a lot of ways. First of all, they didn't have different colored masks. They all wore red.
Yeah. And
the comic book was a bit nittier and grittier. The Shredder, he was the same because, well, his character was based on a shredder. Cutting up, grating your cheese, and this would make a great bad guy.
Yeah, kind of hard to find much depth to an arch nemesis when he's based on a kitchen utensil.
but at least he changed the costume because I mean, otherwise that big triangular one, almost triangular one that we see all the time.
Oh yeah.
If that was his costume with just like his head and the helmet and there's a whole bodysuit like that, that would be very bad.
And in the live action movie, it worked really well along the lines of the cartoon.
First one did, yeah. I saw it in theaters.
And I mean, it went downhill, but it was still, decent. Not like the Ninja Turtles of late, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was good for what it was, an action film. But I'm sorry, turtles don't have noses. Ninja Turtles, anyway.
Well, the mutation. And that goo, who knows what it did to them. So, speaking of the goo...
I hated those friggin' movies. The most recent ones, I gotta say it.
I saw the first one of the reboot, and based on what I saw about it, I still haven't watched the second one of the reboot. Nope, can't do it. Nope, not one bit. No.
Hell, I could barely even stand the original sequel. I mean,
hey,
the first one was awesome. It was absolutely stellar. But the second one, I was like, okay, Shredder got crushed in a garbage truck, and now he's suddenly back.
And bigger?
Yeah, because he's mutated.
Yeah, and he
it makes sense.
And then he became a wrestler. Trivia fact, the Super Shredder in the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie was played by Kevin Nash, who some of you wrestling fans might remember as Diesel. But that's the guy who played it.
I do have to say, though, that the new movies are actually not bad if you've seen, the Christmas special, the live action Christmas special.
I'm sorry, but he's gonna have to wear the cabbage of shame for the whole episode.
Yeah.
Or Coming Out of the Shells, which was god awful, and the turtles don't have shells.
I'm sorry, but to me that sounds like a Little Mermaid striptease thing. Da 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 da. I'm sorry, I have a very strange mind. Speaking of the goo. Yes, only I would go from strippers to goo and still be talking about a kids program.
Yep.
Yeah. Wait, a lot of Marvel comic book characters got their powers and whatnot from accidents. Which Marvel comic book character who went through an accident is the cause of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Do you know? The goo.
Daredevil.
Yeah, he's right. The goo that mutated the turtles is the same goo that sprayed at Murdoch in the eyes.
Really?
Yeah, when Eastman and Laird did the cartoon, they did some hinting to it.
I think they actually had like a canon run of comics, or there was something that solidified that as canon.
Yeah, they have fully admitted it and went ahead and did it in the comic books.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's official. If Daredevil had avoided that accident and hadn't gotten sprayed in the eyes and gone blind, we wouldn't have 4 amphibians running around practicing kung fu and saving us. But you also notice something, like there's a bit of a tribute as well. Daredevil's master, who taught him? Stick. And who taught the 4 turtles?
Oh.
Splinter.
Put him.
The ninjas that Daredevil fights, they're called the Hand. And who are the ninjas in...
The Foot.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so, didn't know any of that, did you?
No.
See, this is why I'm the king of useless trivia. Why I know this shit, I have no clue.
Useless.
Well, apparently it's not useless anymore.
Exactly. So, what about you?
Oh, probably the one that I absolutely refused to miss growing up, Saturday morning cartoons. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
I remember that. We've come for your daughter, Chuck. No, we're not going to. Sorry. Okay, the cartoon based on the movie starring Michael Keaton, Gina Davis, and the ever-loving, wonderful Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder was good in it too.
Okay, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Plus that dance at the end. Shake, 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 Sonora. But we're not in here talking about movies, cartoons. We digress.
Yeah.
So what came first, the movie or the cartoon?
Well, the
The
cartoon was
movie.
based on the movie.
Yeah,
1,000%.
That's what I thought it was.
It's the cartoons tamed down, less innuendo filled, intended for Saturday morning audiences. Kind of like the attempted Alien cartoon that never aired.
Yeah, I read about
Thanks,
that the other day.
Alien 3, for screwing that up.
There's just, with the movies and the alien and that tongue thing, I've always thought it's cool, but just with my sick, dirty mind, I just think, no, I'm not going to go there. Look, I never actually, I watched Beetlejuice for the first, couple of episodes, and I was just like, no, I remember one of the reasons I drink, just because how watered down it was. But it was very also, they spent a lot more time in, the nether realm,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
that was kind of fun.
Yeah. Plus, Beetlejuice not being the antagonist, but actually.
The protagonist?
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
I actually know some words that have more than 2 syllables.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. In fact, especially one of them is syllables.
Actually, one of my favorite episodes, I don't know why it sticks out in my mind, is the one where, I can't remember the actual cause, but something causes people or monsters to change their personality. So Beetlejuice gets infected with this, and he's there, and he's just this proper person who's.
Oh, yeah, right.
I simply must have a bath. Goes in, comes out with all the water. Oh, I'm clean.
If I remember correctly, this cartoon came out around the time that I was in my late teens, so that means I was probably up drinking a lot, and that would explain why I didn't see a lot of that.
Yeah.
And,
It ran from 89 to 91.
okay, so, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to say my
That was
favorite
16.
episode. Yeah. I would have to say my favorite episode, the one that really sticks out in my mind, is some guy, I can't even remember who it was, tricks Beetlejuice into saying, I'm coming apart at the seams. Next thing you know, his whole body splits apart. He's got until sundown to finally reassemble. I mean, it was one of the more serious, darker episodes that they did. And it's stuck in my mind ever since. I really enjoyed that one.
There was also the skeletons in the closet. That was funny. Like I didn't get it at the time, but it's just like that's the kind of thing writers throw in that just.
I've always loved when writers did that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the first time I ever saw in a cartoon where they did a joke for adults that I laughed at it because I was a kid and I thought it was funny, but I didn't get it, was Bugs Bunny. It was an episode in which Bugs and Daffy are sitting at Bugs' place and they're watching game shows, and they both get called out on the show. The first one down to the studio is going to win $1 million. So they're both making their way to the studio and they're stopping each other one way or another, interfering and all that stuff. And at one point, an old-fashioned phone booth, we're talking the one where you could step in and close the door, right? And it closed at the bottom, not the ones that we grew up on. They just had a bit of a flap.
Yeah.
Bugs hears the phone ringing, goes in, and Daffy locks him in, right? So he opens up, Bugs is like, yeah, it's like, hey, you're on our game show. All you got to do to win is answer this question. What is, and it was a multiplication question. What is 7,322 times 955? And Bugs goes, well, that's easy, and just rattles off the answer. All of a sudden, all these coins start pouring out of the coin slot on the phone to the point where it's now overflowing, and you see the glass and so he's buried up to here in coins in his winnings. And all of a sudden coins start coming out the coin slot and you see it fill up. So he's not buried up to his chest in all these coins, his winnings, and the answer on the other end goes, well, that's absolutely amazing. You won, but how did you get the answer so fast? And Bugs goes, well, there's one thing rabbits know how to do, it's multiply.
They use the same gag during the movie Zootopia, if I remember right.
Oh, yeah. Me and your 753 brothers and sisters. Yeah, but yeah. No, that was the first time I ever got something like that. So that's what definitely did it for me. For me as well, though, Transformers also grew up with G.I. Joe, which came out in 1985. And it was not the G.I. Joe action figures that were this big and had like turf hair and a drawn-on beard. They looked like him, but rugged and hair, right? Or looked like me, just without the fat frickin' belly. And so when they relaunched it, like in '85, and it was an action thing, but Marvel and Hasbro and Sunbow Productions were all the ones involved. And the comic book came out with the intention meant just to sell the toys. That's what the comic book was actually a marketing tool for the toy instead of the other way around. And the cartoon helped go out as well. And like I actually had G.I. Joe #1. My mom came home. She's like, "Here's a comic book I thought you might be interested in." And I still remember it, and I thought it was great. And I had some of the original G.I. Joe toys as well. Like I'm talking, I had Snake Eyes, where he was dressed all in black, SWAT team style, goggles, and
cool.
And I remember ended up breaking it. My dad took a small screw and he screwed the leg in. And it's like so and G.I. Joe versus Cobra, and Cobra was the worst terrorist organization in the entire universe. A bunch of angry 5-year-olds could have kicked their ass because they were just Cobra Commander. He was all about let's win, but he was a total chicken shit. And, some of his plans were just absolutely idiotic. But, like they actually one time decided to have a telethon and raise money to sell some of their more outdated stuff that was still a bigger event. And we're talking the Baroness comes out and she's wearing like a low cut blouse and a evening gown and you've got Thomas and Zaymot, the twin brothers, on the phones at the like the old-fashioned Jerry Lewis telethon.
Yeah.
It's like so they had just some of the weirdest stuff out there, and like they were under orders from the censors at the time that they weren't basically allowed to, well, of course, get away with anything, but they couldn't hit nothing either. And that's why whenever you see them going into action, they're running at each other, G.I. Joe and Cobra coming together, blah 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 blah, and then they start fist fighting. It's like the guy is literally this far away from you, and you can't hit him with a bloody laser beam. But it has, it was just when it came out. Me and my friends of that age, we were all just like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest!" And so you collected. A buddy of mine, he collected so many, and like some of the toys had like a backpack or something like that, and came with a weapon as well.
Yeah.
He actually had his toys lined up, and remember how you could buy the Star Wars case where you could put your figures into it and then close it up?
Okay, yeah.
He had one of those. All of his action figures were in. Then he had a Tupperware dish with all their guns and weapons and stuff like that. And then another Tupperware dish with their backpacks and other accessories and stuff like that. Like, he took care of them.
Oh, Lord.
Even though nowadays you'd be like, what do you mean? They took them out of the box. Toys are meant to be played with. End of story.
That's why I'm a toy.
No, you're a tool. That means you're meant to be handled. So, yeah, he wants to say something, but he's too afraid. I don't blame him. Yeah. No. So,
I tried to be the polite one.
I don't.
What the fuck's the point of that?
I tried. I was once very polite. I didn't make any innuendos. I didn't touch alcohol.
And then you were born.
No, it was the worst 5 freaking seconds of my life. Ugh. God, the flashbacks just, oh.
It's okay.
So, you want me to pour you another one?
No, I'll just... Okay, flashback over.
Yes.
Thank goodness for modern medicine.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
Hoorah.
Yabba dabba. So, those were my two favorites. What else was, what about you? What was your second musty cartoon as a kid?
Well, outside of, like, Looney Tunes and Tiny Toons and, the usual fare and the forced viewing of Care Bears by my grandmother.
Okay, before you go on,
You don't like the Care Bears countdown?
I am going to be admitting something here. You guys will probably laugh your nuts off at me for, but I don't care. The Care Bears movie that came out, I went and saw that by myself. Went to the movie theater, not paid for it first. What the hell?
I have to ask because
We have a
can't-
Darth down! This could take a while.
I'm okay.
Yeah. I was about, what? I think I was like 13 when the movie came out. So it's like, you know what? Sunday afternoon, I'm bored.
Was it because I have this vague recollection of watching a Care Bears movie, and did it have something to do with a Mad Hatter or something?
I don't remember.
Okay,
I mean, I saw it before I started drinking.
we need to rewatch.
So,
and we're
and-
tying you down,
Oh, yeah, you'll have to.
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange style.
I just, I love the pictures, like, you see a Care Bear and it's got, like, the middle finger on it, The fuck you bear. It's like,
Yep.
that's the one we became as teenagers. That's, that would have been, if I had been, like, 16 years old and gotten a Care Bear t-shirt where he's, like, a gray t-shirt and the Care Bear was black, with a grumpy face and a middle finger, all that stuff, yeah, damn right I would have worn that till it was almost see-through with holes in it. Frickin' A.
But, okay, aside from all of those, probably the one that I watched the most, and this might surprise you guys, knowing that I'm a bit more of a fan of Marvel, is actually, excuse me, Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, that was great.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
amazing.
Especially some of the direct-to-video movies they got. I'd have to say my favorite of all is Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
I mean, it
That was
was
great.
a one-time opponent that came off as an equal match to Batman. I mean,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking Moriarty to Holmes.
Do you know one of the things that helped make that different than any other cartoon? They drew on black paper, not white. When creating the cells, because they wanted that darker,
Yeah.
grittier feel. So instead of using white paper for creating the cells, no, they used black paper as the background.
Yeah.
So it was also the one that finally gave us a backstory on Mr. Freeze. He didn't have a backstory in like the TV show and the comic books and all that stuff. He was just suddenly
Yeah.
there. He actually started off as like Mr. Zero, as in 0 degrees Celsius, and then
Kelvin.
no Hobbs either. But they started off, he was like Mr. Zero, and then he turned around, and when they brought him back, it was pretty much the same character, but they called him Mr. Freeze. But they never bothered delving into a story of his background, or what, because back then in those comics it was just plop something down, funny idea, run with it.
Yeah.
So, and see what sticks to the wall. But so when they came out with the animated series, that's when they finally started giving him the series that made him a little more sympathetic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know people are probably going to whine about this one.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, especially after Schwarzenegger. I kind of cringe at that one too. I actually found Mr. Freeze to be one of my preferred villains. I mean, I have always been a sucker for the tragic villain.
No, I can get that, but
Yeah.
just the Arnold Schwarzenegger version, dude.
I know.
I'm always making puns, and I cringed.
I know. It
Okay.
was horrible.
That's putting it nicely.
I have my own words on it.
Here's the
but-
thing, though. They actually had a different actor in mind for playing the part originally. And I just wonder how much better it would have been if that actor had taken on the role instead of Schwarzenegger.
Who was it?
Patrick Stewart. I can't see him making that many puns. I can see him reading the script and saying, no.
I think Patrick Stewart would have had his own problems, but it definitely would have been preferable.
Yeah. I just, like, as much as I'm a big Joker fan with the first Batman movie and the one with Schwarzenegger, there's one thing I've never liked. In my personal opinion, when you have a movie, Batman, the first guy in the credits should be the guy playing Batman. I love Nicholson, but Michael Keaton should have been Batman. Being Batman should have been on the opening credits. First. Not Nicholson. Same with when George Clooney took over the role. And actually, I like George Clooney as Batman. I thought he had the nice jaw. He's a very, very good actor.
Yeah.
But the movie's so lambasted, and he felt it was such a piece of crap while filming it, that when people said to him on some occasions, have you ever played a homosexual in a movie? And he's like, Yeah, haven't you seen Batman? He's like, I played a gay. Urban legend has it that if you walk up to George Clooney and say, yeah, I saw your Batman movie. I want my $12 back. He'll pay you. Urban legend. Don't try it, folks. Don't email him. Don't call him. Don't contact him on the website or something like that. It's an urban legend, and I'm not going to get yelled at by George Clooney for saying, dude, now you owe me the money that I had to pay out because you're smart. He's got a lot more money than I ever will have. I got to cover my ass. I don't get the chance to do it very often, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So. All right, Josh.
Oh, gargoyles. Totally.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
I jokingly used to call it medieval Star Trek. Just because of the fact that it started off in a medieval setting, brought into today, but so many Star Trek Next Generation actors.
True.
Yeah, no, like doing the rewatch, I saw that. I'm like, oh, seriously?
Yeah. Michael Dorn, Marita Sirtis, Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah,
Brent Spiner appeared as Puck.
Yeah, if I recall, Frakes was actually a series regular.
Oh yeah, no, he played the main bad guy. He was the one that brought them from England, their castle from England, to New York at the time.
Right.
Because if I remember correctly, when they got turned into stone, it was a case of that they would be released from. They got themselves cursed intentionally, and the curse was that they would only be free once the castle that they were protecting rose above the clouds. So
back then it's like, oh, that's impossible. It's not going to happen. So it's going to be a forever thing.
Yeah, a couple hundred years ago, nobody would think of that.
Yeah.
Because the term skyscraper wouldn't exist. And so Jonathan Frakes' character, David Xanatos, what he did was he brought the castle over to New York and built on top of a skyscraper, so the curse was lifted. It was now above the clouds, and that released the gargoyles.
Letter of the law, not the spirit.
Exactly. So hey, you go with what works.
Yeah.
And explain some of my exes. Explains why I'm single. Another story for another time. So
That'll be the confession episode.
yeah, that was going to take the longest of all.
Yeah.
Forgive me for how the fry have said. What again? Yeah. Old joke. The guy.
You were just in here an hour ago.
Old joke. Guy goes to confessional and he's like, "No, forgive me, Father, but I've been with a disreputable woman." And the priest is like, "Is it that Mary Kelly down at on 4th Street?" No. Is it that Sue Marie down over on 5th Avenue? No, Father. What about that young Susan Anthony over on 4th Avenue? Yeah, no. All right, well, just go forward and say Hail Mary. Walks out of the church and his buddy says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I got 3 new leads on a date tonight."
I know that one. Yeah.
But so back to gargoyles. Who's your favorite? Because there's Goliath, there was Brooklyn, there was Hudson. Those are the ones that I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. No. Well, Puck. Puck, obviously, just the trickster, and just seeing him just mess with everything, and just regular trickster, and then realizing he's Oberon's bitch.
Everybody's somebody's bitch.
Yeah. Now you know. And and Goliath was that your
Optimus.
Your Optimus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I
And
really
that's
like.
true. That's what got me into it, and it was that's what got me into mythology, because they put it together really well, and I actually got into a lot more Shakespeare after that because of Tempest and Midsummer Night's Dream, and I actually got to enjoy that portion of it as well.
Cool.
That's weak. Go with the Greek tragedies. They're always the best. Prometheus. Not the movie.
I was always partial to the Norse mythology myself.
Yeah.
There were some great stories in there. Tragic and saddening and creepy, and the first actual stories in mythology were with cross-dressing. So, Not that I cross
Fun times, you know.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Sophocles talking about incest.
It's like tennis. Again, the whole family can play.
You know, it's all relative.
Yeah. All right, so that's our show for today, folks. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, and let us know what your favorite cartoons were growing up in the comic section.
Not Care Bears. Never mention.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I will do it.
Hey, everybody. This is Paul from Gassed Up Geeks. Not too long ago, we posted a video in which we attended an event called Scream It Like Goku, and it was a lot of fun and got a lot of views. Well, we've got another event coming your way as well. The Geeks have a friend named June, and she's having her own event in which everybody's going to yell, Moon Prism Power. That's right, this time we're going to pay tribute to Sailor Moon. We want everybody to come on out and have a laugh. It takes place on October 6th in Nathan Phillips Square in front of the Toronto sign at 6 p.m. So come on out, show your fandom, and have some fun. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Stay geeky, my friends. Oh, by the way, I lost.